we're going to have to deal with Kathy Griffin being an absolute menace for years and now wanting you to feel bad for her, ladies and gentlemen. Kathy Griffin says that she has complex PTSD and suffers 8-hour-long panic attacks. Well, that is very sad, Miss Griffin. If I didn't hear you threaten people or suggest that the death of other people would be a good thing, I'd almost have an ounce of compassion for you, but I don't. I struggle with this because I do have the inclination to always feel a bit of empathy for somebody in this type of situation. But then I look back at the old tweets and the posts and I'm like, if you can't take what you dish out, I got nothing for you.
Yeah. Do you want to show her TikTok? She's been posting TikToks recently, to explain here about her experience getting diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety attacks. And
okay,
this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
TikTok, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about PTSD. Never talked about it publicly. I think this is the place to do it because I've seen a lot of videos about it and stuff. Anyway, this is going to sound whatever. You can laugh or whatever, but I've been diagnosed with complex PTSD.
We're not going to laugh at you at all. We're going to judge you because of your past behavior.
And it's, they call it an extreme case. So I would love to hear from you guys about those of you that have.
Feed the dogs with me?
Yeah, I'll feed the dogs. Like
She's
that helps me to get up
human.
and feed the dogs. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys about depression or anxiety or stuff like that, how you cope.
She doesn't read a single comment written to her by some nobody.
She does, though. I've seen her talking to people in the comment section.
Okay, I'm wrong. Okay.
But it's like,
so she was having back and forth with them.
she's like arguing
You'll
with
understand
them.
that this.
Okay, she's fighting with them.
Yeah, like some people were saying, like, look, celebrities aren't welcome on TikTok. This is your cue to leave.
This really
I mean, that's not really addressing her concerns, I guess.
started for me about 5.5 years ago. Wink. You know, and the cancer didn't help. All right, I look forward to reading the comments.
How can somebody who's been through something that serious be so flippant about the lives of other people?
I think that she wants to have it both ways. Mm-hmm. So she wants to be a shock jock. As her TikTok bio says, she wants to be the mayor of Zero Fucksville. And she wants to be the a-hole comedian.
You don't get to be both.
But at the same time, get to have an unlimited supply of sympathy when she starts the corny mental health conversation. Yeah. And I'm going to call it corny because none of it has ever accomplished anything, except for self-pitying.
But here's the thing. I've talked about this stuff endlessly on my social media, and I do think it's important to at least be open with yourself about what you're going through, but I'm not extrapolating that to other people, but I'm also willing to have an honest conversation about what she's going through here. Nothing in the way of her previous discussions have ever been looking to reach some type of understanding with other people. It's always been about emotional response and shocking content.
Right.
So she gets no leeway.
Someone commented, you can't straddle the line between being the a-hole and I have CPTSD, feel bad for me. It's as simple as that. If you're not going to be a considerate person, why are you owed consideration from the public?
And most of the stuff, like when I would talk about this stuff, had more to do with the fact that I would tell people or talk to people about, look, at the end of the day, you can have all of the diagnoses you want. You're still responsible for your own behavior, and you have to find solutions that work for you, which is mainly just me talking through what I'm experiencing at the time. But I don't think that I'm also anywhere near as offensive as she is.
No. And it's funny that this is from the far left comedian. I know that right-wing comedians like Ricky Gervais or Dave Chappelle or Bill Maher or any of these people, they aren't going to TikTok to talk about mental health and get sympathy from people. They know where they stand with the public, and they're fine with having a somewhat antagonistic relationship with people who view their content. Yeah. So they wouldn't even dream of doing that. And why does Kathy Griffin think that she's different, where she can have her cake and eat it too? Why do you get to be antagonistic?
Why do you think that is?
But at the same time, at your will, flip a switch and have the goodwill again.
Is the idea supposed to be that like she's playing a character when she's doing it in like, that's not the real me, this is the real me? Like
She might be, but she's very bad at toggling between her real self and the character, if that's the case.
If you guys don't remember, she made a tweet about Donald Trump and where she said a syringe with air would do the trick, which, if you don't understand, is a very implicit suggestion that we can't even really talk about here on YouTube because it would go against TOS. And if you're going to make tweets like that, I don't have the sympathy for you. I'm sorry.
And that's her original photo with the decapitated head of Trump. What was that, 2017?
Yeah.
She didn't learn anything from the backlash that came from that. Maybe the first thing she should have learned is to stick by the decision you made and not apologize. But after apologizing,
then complained about the apology not being effective.
She complained about the response to the apology, felt like nothing was good enough. And it's like, yeah, this is cancel culture 101, and people on the right have been experiencing it far longer than you have.
The first time meme.
But then that syringe full of air tweet from 2020 shows she has not changed her ways at all.
You know what it is? A lot of it is that
unhinged. And what kind of joke is that anyway?
Twitter brings out the worst in people when it comes to impulse control. Meaning, like, a lot of the podcasts that I love, like the wrestling podcast that I love, does like a roundup where like he talks about like stuff that wrestlers have tweeted throughout the week, right? And like a lot of it's about people who tweet and delete because people just don't have the self-control to wait and see if they actually want to send that tweet.
There's a draft feature for a reason.
They feel it in their bones, and they have to make that point right this second, or else all else will end with the world. If they don't get that out there right now, what they need to learn is, it's kind of like that old saying. It's like, if you're going to write somebody an angry letter, wait a week to send it to see if you still feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't have to wait a week, but wait a day to see if you still feel that way.
Or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But Kathy Griffin is going to pass this off as her attempt at comedy and satire.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if that was your attempt at comedy, your comedy sucks. Your sense of humor doesn't resonate with people, and you should adapt accordingly if this is what you're calling a profession.
And saying that you're doing this for the good of others is a blatant lie. I'm sorry. It's a blatant lie. I don't believe for a second she gives a crap about the good of other people.
DACA recipients, use me as a human shield.
Also, look, I don't, and she also mentions addiction. She mentions addiction, and she talks about that. She mentioned addiction in the article.
I didn't see that in any of her TikToks, but I don't know if it's related to the anxiety that she was talking about.
She'd gone on about Civil War and how and everybody going back and forth about Republicans and Democrats going on about Civil War. But she had mentioned, she says she told NBC Nighttime in 2021 that she struggled with drug addiction and contemplated sewer slide, as you would say, following the intense backlash from her 2017 photo shoot with the Donald Trump head. Okay, so she has and I would not wish addiction or withdrawal on my worst enemy, and she's certainly not important enough to ever be my worst enemy if I was to have such a thing. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but you can't realistically expect the public to have much sympathy for you when you haven't made yourself a sympathetic person.
No comedians on the right side of the aisle or the anti-woke side of the aisle would ever say something or do a stunt as graphic against Joe Biden because it's not a joke.
Yeah.
What she was doing was an incitement.
Yeah.
It's as clear as day, or maybe her sense of humor is just that bad. But never once has Kathy Griffin thought of pumping the brakes and reevaluating what she's doing and the path that she's been on. And now we've ended up here where she's complaining, woe is me, about being, quote, blacklisted by Hollywood. She really said that to someone in her TikTok comment section. She feels like she has been blacklisted in Hollywood and rejected by people in Hollywood completely. You don't even know a taste of what being blacklisted actually is, Kathy Griffin. Try being Alex Jones for a day. I don't think you would be happy.
How much money does he owe now? Like $70 trillion? Like,
and like, yeah.
And he has to like pay with his firstborn child or something like that.
He has to like kneel to Baal.
Yeah, basically. Like they're gonna make it like, you know what they're gonna do is they're gonna put up like a statue of him in Bohemian Grove. That's like it's gonna be like a humiliation statue of him, like some type of way of making him look bad because he just owes the world $80 gazillion. Look, 8-hour panic attack. If that's true, that's horrible. But what those should do is make you rethink your approach. But it might be too late. Like for somebody like that, it's just too late.
I don't normally appreciate posting about mental health on social media much anyway, because most of it is about wallowing. And like, I haven't brushed my teeth in 2 years. Congratulate me.
That lady who's
because
like,
I'm being transparent about it, and that's what really matters. Like, why do you have so much motivation to get on TikTok and seek out applause, but no motivation to work on the things that are wrong in your life?
It's interesting too, because I do an aspect of that, right? Like if I'm having what I end up doing is I go and I literally talk to my phone while I'm skating and talk about the fact that I'm going through some like rough day and exercise. And I'm always advocating that. I'm like, look, you do not understand how much it helps to get exercise when you're struggling, like how good it is for you. Oh, there's a $20 one right there.
Clef the Misfit said, "You merely adopted the black ball. I was born in it, molded by it." Gina Carano.
Except for you're supposed to do it in the Bane voice. I was born in it. But when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about working on it and changing my circumstances for the betterment of my health. I'm not complaining about it with no solution. I'm saying, look, this works for me. Don't underestimate what getting out and getting exercise could do for you, because that's the insight I can offer you. Whether people take anything from that, I have no idea, but they are the ones that have chosen to follow me on that platform. So I guess the assumption is that they give a crap about what you think. Maybe. I have no idea. But
well, when it comes from Kathy Griffin, I think this is just an attempt to guilt trip the people who justifiably gave her pushback on so-called jokes that were not funny. Even to left-wing people who hate Trump, I cannot imagine that they saw that tweet where she was holding his decapitated head and were like, that is so funny, retweet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that anybody thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
That's why you got so-called blacklisted.
Yep.
But she's not even blacklisted. She was just saying that she was about to do voice work on Futurama in one of her TikTok videos. Like, you are still working and you always will be okay.
Another fun fact, the guy who took that photo actually was a rollerblading, like he was a videographer in our industry back in the day. Tyler Shields.
Did you ever know him?
I never met him, but I have a friend who was in one of his videos, and
That's funny.
he became like a kind of an avant-garde photographer in Hollywood that would push the boundaries and was very like what you'd call like kind of like a bad boy in the industry.
Okay.
So
if you want to call it art, it's bad art. If you want to call it comedy, it's unfunny. Where do we go from there?
I never knew him, but he was he was a part of our industry. So it was that was actually kind of crazy.
Did you think that he like knew of you?
No. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I came
Weird
into
connection.
my like I didn't become more known till later. Like I think he was already out of the industry by that point and had moved on, but he was a part of the industry.
And it's funny that he didn't get the backlash Kathy Griffin did.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.